Welcome to Biconic Chat. I'm representing Bicollective Delhi here along with Garima, and we have Glitter Cymru joining us, represented by Rania and Mujib. And we're going to be talking about bi-visibility because, of course, this September we have the Bisexuality Visibility Week, and then we also have Celebrate Bisexuality Day coming up later. So I am a reporter in India. I also write poetry. I identify as pansexual and gender fluid. Garima, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah.
Garima, I
Struggling
can't hear you. Yeah, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. Why? What's happened to the volume suddenly? Okay, anyway, can we do that again?
Now?
Yes, I can hear you. Also, let me do that again because I realized I didn't say my name. So, okay. Okay, Garima, speak once more.
Hello.
Yeah, okay, we can hear you. Okay, so I'll do it again. Okay, sorry. Welcome to Biconic Chat. We have Bisexuality Visibility Week is starting now, and then we also have Celebrate Bisexuality Day. So we are doing some conversations about bi-visibility. I am here on behalf of Bicollective Delhi along with Garima. And then we have Glitter Cymru joining us with Rania and Mujib. I am Sriatapa. And I am a news reporter. Currently, I also write poetry. I identify as pansexual and gender fluid. Garima?
I am Garima. I am a student and I identify as a panromantic polyamorous bisexual. Rania, would you please take it over?
Yeah, so hi everyone, my name is Rania. I am a queer asylum researcher at Cardiff University and the education officer for Glitter Cymru. I also identify as bisexual and my pronouns are she, her. Mujib?
Thanks. Hi, everyone. My name is Abdul Mujib. I go by Mujib. So I live in Cardiff. I'm a support worker here in Cardiff. I'm here on behalf of Glitter Cymru, like Rania. So I'm a member of Glitter Cymru. I identify as bisexual, and I live in Cardiff. Yeah.
So, do we think that there is enough bi-visibility? Let's start with that. Or like, do we, like as bisexual people in queer community, is it, obviously we belong to the queer community, but I feel like a lot of bisexual people, and I'm talking about like the bisexuality umbrella, which includes pansexuality and polysexuality and all non-monosexualities, I think they often find it difficult to find the community to fit in, even within the queer community. So have any of you kind of experienced anything like that?
I can start with that one. I find it, I have been out for pretty much since I was like 14, 15 years old. And I still find it quite challenging to find my place within the community. And I'm gonna be using the word community and kind of family interchangeably here. I still feel that I have to kind of always come out in scenarios that I really feel I shouldn't. And this is kind of part of the bigger issue for me. And I think this is what you were referring to. Obviously, there are other issues that come underneath that as bi-erasure. And I guess on the flip side of that, this is what bi-visibility is for, to kind of ostracize this idea of bi-erasure. But I think we need to be louder and we need to be more aware of the space that we claim in order to counterbalance whatever negativity exists within the community. That can take up many, many forms, as we're going to be discussing further on. Yeah.
Garima or Mujib, any of you?
Yeah, just to add to what Rania said, I just think it's a good example, like with myself and Rania, where Rania has come out since she was, is it 16? You said
Yeah, 15, 14,
15.
16.
Okay. Yeah, and although I've had sexual interaction with male in a younger age, but I only came out when I was 20, and in the UK, there was no way I could have came out in living in Africa, with my parents there. So but even I myself, I'm still experiencing this like phobia, I would say, against biphobia, I would say. Unfortunately, I would have liked it to for us to be like the LGBT or one community. I didn't expect us to be celebrating bisexual months after we've already done the gay pride and the queer. I thought it was just going to be a one big thing, but unfortunately, there's segments and minorities inside the LGBT group, so we have to do that. But like I said, I'm just coming into the scene, and I'm still seeing this. I still feel this stigma that I have to act a certain way. So definitely, there's less visibility, and yes, Rania is right. It boils down to a lot of bisexual just owning up and like taking up that torch, I'll say, and just coming out and speaking more. That's it. Really.
Yeah. So I feel that, when I discovered, for me, the discovery was easier because, I was always with friends. I didn't have to do it alone. So after coming in contact with the community as an ally, now I don't like the word at all, but back then I was an ally.
Oh, really?
Then,
wait, this is news to me. You were an ally. What?
Yeah. Yeah, I was.
I can second the not liking the word ally, but we can come back to that.
Oh, wait, so you didn't know that when did you find out you're queer? Sorry, I'm just interested.
So I was queer in my mind, okay, but like exploring myself sexually and saying that I am queer, like in action, was 20 when I was 22, like so 4 years before.
Right. So you were queer in theory, not practice. Anyway.
Yeah, like if that makes any sense, but yeah. So it wasn't ever a challenge for me to come to terms. I didn't come to term with me being bi till I was it happened, my coming out happened before to my friends. Like I came out earlier to my friends than to myself. So yeah, I feel that there was no sort of by representation for me. So it's always like right now I also feel that there is, if you are a woman, gender sign female at birth, and you're with another female, then you are a lesbian. And if you are with a man, you are considered to be straight. Like, the idea that a person can also be bi, can also pansexual, can also be multiple other sexualities does not click. It's so weird. And like, so idea initially was that probably I'm just a lesbian, or probably I just think the idea is like really nice, but I still want to be with guys. So I think that is the thing that we always kind of grapple with, that there is no because we both or more than two genders, we are nowhere. So yeah.
I think for me, I always knew that I'm bi. I think I just didn't have the term for it. But you know, like I started having crushes on like boys and girls. Like my first major crush on a boy was when I was like in KG, and my first major crush on a girl was like in class 2. Okay, so but in my head, because you know there was no representation, when it was a girl, it was like, oh, like, you know, she's my best friend. So I used to have like a new best friend every month, like in my mind, you know. So, and when it was a guy, like I kind of related to like, you know,
Relationship.
films and yeah, like Bollywood, and you know, like there's a song and there's like the dance and like romance. So that was like kind of like the vague idea I had. And then gradually I kind of started seeing like queer phobia around me, like in my school with like, you know, other students and how they were treated, which was absolutely like horrifying. And so I kind of, you know, had to make the decision to like never tell anyone. And then yeah, then it was like, then again, you know, coming out to myself was like this very big process for me. But I think like for me, the phobia has, in my personal experience, like personally, it has come from like, you know, like the straight, cis, wider culture rather than from the queer community. I think I have just lucked out. Like I started kind of being involved in the queer community after going to Cardiff University. And that queer community was very diverse, you know, like the LGBT society, LGBT plus society of Cardiff. It was quite diverse. So there was like people identifying in every which way. It was also where I first met like my first, you know, like the first agender person, like the first non-binary person. And, you know, like the first time I got to know about non-binary, which now I identify as gender fluid. So it was like very diverse. It just did not have a lot of people of color, you know, which is like a different conversation. And then like coming back to India, like going to, again, like, you know, in Kolkata and Delhi, I think I happened to come back to India at a very good time because it was a lot of women, a lot of non-binary people who had kind of started making their own community. And a lot of these people happened to be like bisexual and pansexual. It wasn't maybe like very much something that they talked about specifically, but they were also my friends, and you know, it was just something that they were. So I did not experience a lot of phobia within the community. It's just like from other people's experiences that, you know, I know about it. And but yeah, from like the wider culture, it's like when, oh my god, like they dating like a cis straight man is just, it's like navigating a minefield, you know, because I think there is that expected, like, you know, I have to come out as bisexual, or, you know, I don't even say pansexual because then I have to explain gender. So, you know, I just say bisexual, and then it obviously goes into like the fetish category for them, you know, and then to come out as kind of like non-binary and gender fluid, it's almost like this expectation that I'm going to kind of leave my queerness behind and forget my lived experience and just start operating like a cis straight woman, which is something I have done like before, like in my teenage years and stuff, like before I came out, but it sucks. It's like not me at all, you know. But it's like now that I'm with a guy, you know, it's almost feels like there's this external pressure of like, you know, you are as good as straight, you know, if you are with a guy. And in fact, like, it's very sad, but like one of my closest friends, when I first kind of started dating someone of the same um, sex, like, I mean, they do not identify as a woman at the time, but you know, whatever. But then like one of my closest friends was like, oh, so you're trying to be bisexual again, you know. And that kind of just put it in my head that even though like the people, like, you know, some of the people I've dated, they have been say non-binary or they've identified as trans men or whatever, you know, and I have really felt comfortable in those relationships to be myself, and they've also been like bi or pansexual or whatever. But I have had this thing of like, oh, but they don't identify as a woman, and so the like people around me are not going to truly see me as bisexual because I've dated so many men. And now again, these people, you know, they identify as man or they identify as non-binary or whatever. So I still won't be seen as truly bisexual, and it just caused this stupid anxiety for me, which has like no meaning, because these are again the people that I felt the most at ease with. But
Yeah.
I felt like I constantly need to justify. And when I had my hair long, people would just assume I'm straight. Like, even when I would literally tell them that I'm bi, like they would not believe me. And now that I've cut my hair shorter, like even in like bi meetings, it has happened once that I was in a bi meeting and someone thought that I'm gay because I have short hair. So
Like I feel like I'm listening to my thoughts right now. It's so strange. It's so strange because right now I'm in a relationship with a man, and I feel that whenever we enter queer spaces together, there is this automatic spotlight on not him, my sexuality. And it has happened so many times. People that I do not know come up to me and ask me, because they kind of heard about me through Glitter and so on and so forth. Like, we thought you were queer. Why are you with a man? And it's like this open kind of question of my sexuality in queer spaces that is extremely invasive and extremely problematic in so many ways. They do not question his allyship one bit. And we can go back to this idea of allyship. But there are also these kind of underlined questions of, you guys have threesomes together, you kinky sorts, that sort of vibe. And it's like, that's none of your business. And A, that's none of your business. And B, why do you feel the entitlement of kind of hinting to this kind of area? But I haven't met you before. I'm ranting now, it's fine. And one thing that I found extremely empowering is cutting my hair as well, because my hair is really curly, which I never really embraced. I always felt this pressure to straighten my hair, a whole different topic. And over the last year, this kind of questioning my sexuality from within the queer community has become so intense. And I was kind of almost suffocating. And I was talking to some friends and I was saying, I am so proud of you that you have the strength to cut your hair, because I don't. And my friend was, why can't you not cut your hair? And I did. And this is my new hair I'm demonstrating. And I feel so liberated. The Athens Pride was last week and I attended. Nobody questioned me. Nobody questioned whether I have the right to be there. Nobody questioned my sexuality one bit. Oh, you have the bisexual bob, done. You have the bisexual hair. You are bisexual. Like, you have signed your name, and that's that. So yeah, a lot of experience that we shouldn't be experiencing. And on top of that, in the past, I have fallen in love with lesbians, and I have been constantly rejected because of my bisexuality. I'm not going to enter into a relationship with a bisexual woman, connoting that maybe in 3 months' time, you may want some penis, and I don't have that sort of vibe, time and time and time again. Interestingly, this primarily happened in Greece, not in the UK. So different levels of feeling comfortable with your body and with yourself in different countries, I guess, is, we can debate about that.
I completely agree with Rania when, she says that people saying that we would not come in relationship with bi people because they have the option, like I say option in quotes, option of, going to the other sex and marry. So in India, I don't know about UK, but in India, it's like the same-sex marriage is still not legal. Like, I am anti-marriage, that is a different thing, but like for people who want to marry, it's not legal. So uh, uh, you know, I have heard, like, it hasn't happened personally, but I've heard from gay men that many of the people I know, and I call them friends, and I still not understand, like, I didn't know what their biphobia, and I've heard that they have said that, you know, we would not come in relationship with bi men because bi men would choose the safer side and go marry. And you know, it only brings, like, I was having a discussion with a friend, I was like, then you don't have to question by people, you know, be it by men or by women. You have to question the society, you have to question, like, what are the things that marriage means to someone, and uh, what sort of benefits does it like bring along. When you're married, you will get a house, because no one would give you a house if you're two men saying that, you know, we are partners and we want to live together, or we are partners, and two women saying we are partners and living together. Nobody would do that, right? But people only see that as bi people having the option and them choosing their convenience. It's so weird, I cannot even start.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Like, we have to feel this way, and it's sad to hear what you guys have to go through. Um, Even myself, I've had this kind of scrutiny. Some of them similar, but interestingly, like almost some different as well. I believe with my sexuality, like it boils down to, like, it brings about the way I act, the way I behave. Like, it's connected in a way. I've had in terms, my mom would say, like, I walk as if I respect the floor, in the way, like, I'll be walking calmly, just enjoying, just in my own zone. I'm not trying to put like a character to how you should behave, but definitely I'm just trying to use myself as an example as much as I can, you know. So in that terms, I've had a lot of people from my community, in terms of like the African people of color, that will say to me, "Oh, are you? What kind of Nigerian are you? What kind of? Why you don't act like a Nigerian?" You know, in those kind of ways. And I think what it boils down to is they know I'm attracted to women, but deep down they also know that I'm attracted to men. They don't want to accept it, you know. So I'm getting scrutiny like that, and kind of funny looks and statement like that. But I prefer people that will actually. I prefer if someone asks me really straight to my face and say, what do you identify as? What's your sexuality? Than all these little dicks. But definitely, I can relate to most of the things you guys have said so far.
It's interesting that we brought up kind of bisexuals having relationships with bisexuals already, because it's almost like we are these chameleon people that can kind of blend in but also disappear, or be right in your face. And I was in a long term in an open relationship with a bisexual man, and even though I was out, he was not, for the duration of our relationship. And not only that, the addition of being in an open relationship was also kind of taboo. So he was almost like our relationship, and he was almost like a secret to a lot of people. And it was his choice not to be out, which I had to respect. And our families, our friends didn't know about it. And it was only towards the end of the relationship that they started picking up on things that he was letting slip to sleep. But it's almost this kind of cloud that is over your head. And again, is this coming out process that is very definite when you are a gay man or a lesbian. but with us is this constant coming out that is absolutely exhausting. And I think I'm going to talk about myself. As a bisexual woman, I think I've had it easier than bisexual men. And I think this fits into this thing that we were discussing, Suri, mental health within the bisexual community and this isolation that we have been feeling within our relationships, within our community, and also within ourselves.
I mean, it's like the topic of health is very interesting to me because right now I'm writing an article about how biphobia affects people's health, and I'm talking to a few different people, and it's just, I don't know, like for me it's also so weird because I came out as bisexual when I was 18, you know, so I kind of have this thing like, oh, I know everything, you know, like there is to know about bisexuality. Like now it's like gender is kind of like the hill to climb for me. But then like recently, you know, I found out things like by women, and these studies are based on cis men and cis women, so it doesn't, you know, we don't know about non-binary people or trans people as much, but by women experience more intimate partner violence, bisexual men and women develop like a host of physical illnesses from the stress of biphobia, like from the stress of constantly being rejected by both sides in a way, you know, like of monosexuals, like either in the gay community or the straight community. And like bisexual people, like they develop diabetes and high blood pressure, high cholesterol, like, you know, just like random stuff that I would never expect. But it's like all these different illnesses, which I guess like, you know, you have a predisposition for it, but then you get it at a much earlier age, or like, you know, it's a lot worse than it should have been because you live under this constant stress. And then I've been talking to people, right, for this article, and then I will say this to them, and of course no one has any idea because, you know, we're not having like, I feel like the bisexual community on its own is obviously is not that visible because we're kind of just trying to fit in with the queer community, and most of it is like run by gay people. You know, like I'm talking about gay people as like the mafia now, sorry. But, you know, so like there isn't like that kind of bi community on its own, which is like having these conversations. So like a lot of these people, they'll be surprised and they'll be like, oh yes, I, like, you know, I have that. Like, you know, I have gastrointestinal problems that I developed due to my experiences. You know, yes, I have diabetes even though I'm only 25, and, you know, and it's very interesting. And of course, like, you know, with mental health, obviously, like depression, anxiety, suicidal tendencies, you know, bi people will self-harm more than monosexual people. They just complain of like go to the doctor more for like physical pain, you know. So it's, I mean, it's very shocking for me to find that there is data which kind of, you know, puts our experiences in perspective, and then when you actually have these conversations with people, that also comes out. And also, of course, like, you know, there's a thing about gender. Like, I went with one of my friends to a club here which is known for being queer friendly. Like, again, it's mostly kind of, you know, dominated by gay men. But I went there with a friend, and then my friend, it was like a drag show, and then my friend, you know, they were asking people if they're like top and bottom. Like, they just do these filler things to fill the time when the drag queens are getting ready. Okay, so they were asking people if they're top or bottom, and then my friend said that, you know, they are versatile, like he is versatile. And then they asked, and then he also said that he's bisexual, and people booed him like at this club, you know. And then when I, you know, so he was introducing me to like one of his friends, and he was like, oh yeah, like, you know, it's this like one of my gay friends who like tells me that I should stop being bi or whatever. Okay, and then I told this guy like I'm bi, but then because I'm read as a woman, he was like, oh cool, you know, because it's seen as like if you're seen as a woman who's bisexual, then it's just like, oh, you're cool, you know. As I guess especially for like queer men. And also like all these stories of like, you know, I'm listening, I'm hearing all these stories of bi men who have been so badly bullied by gay men. Like, you know, like badly bullied. Like there are like these shocking stories. of them being like, you know, told to pick a side, being told like a
There's
lot of
always
really bad things. Yeah.
there's always a feeling like like the gay community is waiting for the bisexuals to finally be gay. So they're like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, there's that stigma there.
Uh-huh.
And I'm
Yeah.
sure that even with friends, I've been with a lot of gay friends, like where maybe a girl will walk past, a female girl will walk past, or female, I don't know what's the appropriate word to use there, but and I kind of like show an attraction towards them. There's no way, there's never a time where I get support from my gay friends. Be like, oh, okay, yeah, she's cool, or or something like that. If anything, they'll be like a bit funny about it, like, you don't do that around us, please, in that kind of way. But I'm your friend or whatever, or like, and this is who I am. This is how I am. So you obviously know I'm attracted to men because I'm being around you, and if we probably don't have them sexual interaction or whatever. But if I'm also saying to you, I'm attracted to that person that just walked past now, like, I just think you should just accept it. But like you said, the gay community, the gay people in the LGBT community are kind of like controlling the way things run. And
Yeah.
I'm going to be a little bit diplomatic about it. But I
And
believe
not directly call them the mafia. Yeah, go on.
I'm kind of like, okay, mama, I just be careful. But yeah, I think there's definitely a huge control from that part.
And
Yeah.
to add to
Definitely.
that.
Also, what? Sorry, did I cut someone off?
No, I was asking if anyone wants to add to that, and you were adding, so go on. Continue.
Yeah, okay. So I was saying that, when all of you've been saying that, it's very difficult, when Mujib was saying that it for gay people, I don't know, it was Rania or Mujib, they were saying that, it's very definite for gay people when they come out, but for bi people to come out again and again. I think coming out to yourself, it's very difficult. We were talking about this in the Bi Collective, that when we are, how breakups affect bi people more. We tend to take it, when you break up with a woman, you don't know that the next relationship that you will have will be with a man or a woman, or with another person, or whatever gender you are attracted to, right? So you tend to, like, how do you come out to yourself and say, now I will be this person now, like, you'll have to explain to other people as well, you'll have to explain to yourself as well. That is very confusing. And I get what, Surya, like, you are saying about people getting mental health and physical problems also, because obviously stress is a big factor in this, and it will definitely take a toll. So yeah, I have not been through it, but I've heard stories where people have been like, they've just gone down a spiral because something of that sort of thing has happened, and people are not, like, they don't understand, because they're like, you are like, go seek support. People will say, go seek support from the queer community, as if the queer community is a unilateral entity in itself, as if there is no biphobia there, and we can just go and talk to anyone we want to. So yeah.
You want to add anything? Anyone?
I think one point for me is this idea of breaking up, that I think is not talked about enough. Because let's say you are in a relationship with a woman and you break up, then you have to kind of reintroduce that part of yourself to the community. And to me, at least, there was this fear, intense fear of rejection. And obviously, as you progress, you kind of learn how to cope with it. But I remember initially, I was absolutely mortified. Will my friends reject me? Will my chosen family reject me? Will I be able to go to Pride and be proud? Will they want to be like celebrating Pride with me if they will not be proud of my choices? So there is this kind of constant, again, idea of biphobia and constant coming out. And you cannot help but feel isolated, and you cannot help to feel that you don't necessarily belong when we are the B in LGBT. I don't know. I think it has to do with being seen with our kind of with whatever gender we choose, to be visible in queer spaces. But that takes a lot of, I don't know, strength. And if your mental health is not where it needs to be, then that's problematic. I don't know.
Oh, guys, my phone kept dropping. Yeah, definitely there needs to be more visibility from our own part to just own up to that B if we're the B. So we just have to find ways to be more visible. I think there's this other problem of okay, if I'm with in a relationship with a guy, you know, I'm more happy to be like, oh yeah, LGBT, go rainbow, you know. But once I'm in a relationship with a girl, I feel like, okay, there's no like there's a bit, I don't know, not maybe not definitely not purposely, but there's a bit of a defense there, like we like boils down to like, oh, what people gonna think? I'm coming out with my girlfriend and I'm going, oh, I'm bisexual, I'll go LGBT, you know. So we just need from our part, just need to try and break that barrier, and whatever person we're seeing at that time, we still carry on the banner and just be more vocal about it. And with the bullying, you know, especially for the male bisexual people, you know, for the bullying, I hope to think like it's an individual thing, you know, because I do have gay friends that will never question my sexuality, although they're very few, very few. They're very few. They won't question it at all and be like, okay, but there's so many. If it could be an individual problem, but the thing now is there's so many individuals that are going towards that way that feel they need to bully people. That we're talking about this as bisexuals now. I believe like transsexuals, they're probably going through hell as well. You know, I've had a statement from a gay friend saying, I said, okay, I'm bisexual. I know I'm definitely attracted to girls. I'm definitely attracted to boys. Okay, there's a little bit of attraction with trans. Like, is it because I know they're changing their or something, or is it a feminine look about them as well? I'm trying to figure that out, and they just bust out, I will never go with trans. You know, it's like, you know, so in that kind of setting, so it just, if there's so many people having that kind of mentality, I think we need to bring out some psychological way of dealing with this problem. Because if you speak to a lot of homosexuals, there's a trend to the story whereby a lot of people who don't come out to a certain time. A lot of people couldn't even come out because of their family background until a certain time. You know, there's always that trend. Imagine somebody dealing with all of that as a male. I'm talking from a male point of view now, dealing with all of that, and then finally you could come out as a gay person, and you could come out and do and behave the way you want to behave, love whoever you want to love, because of the laws that are protecting us now. You know, some people takes it too into their head and just feel, okay, yeah, can control. I've got this control now, and I couldn't do this before. Now, so we need to start thinking about it that kind of way. And maybe a lot of gay people need help, really, but they need like seminars to sit down and say, this is what it is, this is what it is, and this is how to deal with this.
They need
And yeah,
diversity
definitely.
training, yeah.
Yep, Rania, that's you there.
Yeah,
Diversity.
c'est moi. I guess I feel that, like, we need to kind of come out to each other a little bit more. Because, for example, in Glitter, we do not have that many visible bisexuals, to be honest. Or those who are bisexual do not want to be visible. So, for example, if I saw you out, Mujib, and I know you're bi and you were with your girlfriend, I would totally kind of come up to you and like try to make her feel welcome and make you feel welcome. So I think that level of reciprocity and help and care and love towards each other, us as bisexuals, need to be a little bit more cohesive. So if I see you out in the club with your girl, I'll come up and be like, I love you guys.
That would definitely make a difference. Like, I'm already feeling welcomed about the idea as well. Like, definitely I feel welcome about that. Just also, I've just to say, because you mentioned something just now about a lot of people don't want to be visible, because I still need to, I deal with a lot of stigmas, you know, like being bisexual, being people of color, being single, that, and all that, and then being African and being homosexual, you know, a lot of the time people, why I'm actually being like, my Facebook page, I changed to bisexual. I had to like, and just to show that support, because I know 100% there's a lot of people in my town, in my country, that have a sexual relationship with other sex partners, but very secretive, and they'll even be angry if you find out about it or if you even mention it. So just to show that support, like, oh, there's something called bisexual, you can actually be cool with it. Then people that are actually taking that step to get out, like myself, even though maybe farther than other people, they're actually taking that step to bold enough to, you know, come out and, you know, and they're still getting stigma, thinking, oh, you know, you're not coming out as much as you should. You should wear some, you know, you don't need to tell me how to dress. You don't need to tell me how to walk or anything. Like, I don't need to tell me, but I still feel it's there, because I can't just be feeling something that's not there, I don't think. But it's there, definitely, you know. So I have to just help people integrate. So we have a lot of people in Glitter, that a lot of people in Glitter that that from Africa as well, that this kind of support in that term would be very useful for them, just to kind of integrate and be like, okay, this way is.
I think it's like, you know, there is this idea of like how bisexuality is described. So there is this like idea of bisexuality, like how it is described, which I think is so harmful, which is like half gay and half straight. And I think people say that to make it easier for like monosexual people to understand it, but it's like, I'm 100% queer all the time. But this idea, like, you know, when I was little, I did not have, I mean, like teenager or whatever, like 15, and I did not have the vocabulary for bisexuality. I would keep suppressing my queerness, and it would be like, oh, I can't be attracted to women even though I am, but I can't be because I'm attracted to men, you know, like I can't be gay because I'm straight, you know. And then growing up with like a lot of girls in boarding school, like girls who have, you know, hit on me, like, you know, who like tried things with me, and I was also like, you know, into them, but I was like too shy and scared or whatever, I guess, like very repressed, so I could not like reciprocate, even though I like wanted to. But all these girls, they have grown up to now, you know, live a very heterosexual life. And I've seen that with my sister as well, like who was also in a girls' school, you know. She would have like so many, like she would have all these stories about all these queer girls in her school and all of that. And now I see like all of them, like they're married or like, you know, they're dating. And some of these are gay women, you know, and there are like some of them who are bi, but you know, like especially with me, like the ones I'm talking about, they were all bi, but it's almost like, you know, they have gone on to kind of choose the straight path, you know. And even when I came out to one of these girls who's now like a good friend of mine, she was like, oh, you're bi, like you want boys also, girls also. And in my head I'm thinking like, you kissed me in school, like, and it's what is this, and but it's like they kind of choose because it's almost, and even now when I'm like talking to people for my article and stuff, there's almost this idea of like, that poem about like I'm standing in the woods and there's two paths ahead of me, and it's like, they see there's a straight path and there's a gay path, like because I'm bisexual, I'm kind of like stuck here, unable to make a choice, or it's like there are those people who have made that choice, who have picked the straight path, and like, gradually I got to know there are people who picked the gay path also. Like there are people who are bisexual, but they just started identifying as gay because they wanted to fit into the queer community and they wanted to date people of the same gender, and that was the only way that people were reciprocating. So I think that is like such a harmful thing, and because of that I also can't, it's very hard for me to like visualize, even though I am equally attracted to like all genders, and I am also like attracted to cishet men, as tragic as that is. Like, I can't imagine actually like getting involved with someone like that, because I might have be expected to like live with my in-laws and deal with that, or like get pregnant, like all of these things which are like horrifying to me. So it almost seems like the better choice is to just stick to the queer side and just date like queer people, and hopefully like even when you date like say queer men or someone who passes as a man to their family, there can still be those expectations. And so yeah, it almost feels like I should just stick to as much of the queer side as possible, so that I just never have to deal with these things, because that's for me, because I'm always queer. Even if I want to date a cis-het man, I will never want to live that life.
Yeah. I guess for me, like not being in monogamous relationships solves this in a very kind of easy way, if that makes sense. I have made it very clear to everyone that I'm not getting married. There is no way I'm going to be married. And as a choice, I do not want kids. Child-free is the way for me, and I'm sticking to it. But also there is this, with open relationships and bisexual people, there is also this kind of idea that we're extremely promiscuous, and that we will use our sexuality to get what we want, and we use people and so on and so forth, which is utter bullshit.
I wish.
Yeah, exactly. Why not? I'm not that kind of person, but you know what I mean. But the thing is that the reason why we're seen as promiscuous is because we make the choice, like you said, Surya, not to choose the straight path. At least for myself, I'm not choosing the straight path or the queer path. I'm choosing both. I'm accepting myself for who I am, and being in a monogamous relationship is not the way for me. So Garima, you said you are polyamorous as well. So this is also part of the discussion here as well, in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And when you said that people see us as promiscuous and see us as using people, I'm like all in for it. Do that, because that is like probably going to solve all the
Unashamed,
but the thing is,
Garima.
definitely. Also, like this should not be the marker. Like if I am this, you do not judge the whole bisexual community because I am promiscuous or I want to, mostly it happens when you date, when you go on dating sites. People, the first thing they ask you after they know that you're bisexual, will you have a threesome? please, like that might be my choice, but it's not how you just approach a bisexual person. We might also be looking for committed relationships or just dating for that matter. Like, it does not mean that I would just, because I'm bisexual, I am just wanting to sleep with you and your partner. Like, I want to, but that is not anyone else.
That is a
So
Garima thing.
yeah,
It's not a,
yeah, that's not probably all of you things. So yeah,
Funny enough,
the mindset, and when you I'm sorry, Mujib, go ahead.
no, go on, Garima, go on.
Rania, also when you said, you when you cut your hair, then people were like, now you have the bisexual bob. That's also the thing. I feel that it's very, very problematic. So I wear a septum. So some people have just like thought in their mind that I'm a lesbian just because I wear a septum. And people, like, a friend asked me also that I want to ask you. He wanted to ask me, not offend me. He was like, I want to ask you, but I don't know how you'll feel. I was like, yeah, go ahead. He's like, are you a lesbian? I was like, what makes you say that? So he was like, because lesbians are the ones who wear septums. I was like, I wish, but no.
Give me a clear
I wish I was a
identifier.
lesbian, but no.
yeah. If you zoom into the septum
Yeah, so
ring, it has lesbian inscribed on it. So yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, it's very it's very problematic, all these markers that we have. And obviously media is to be blamed for this, and everything has to be there, because the way we show queer people, by visibility is not there, so people don't really get, so they confuse us with lesbians. Because, like, if lesbians have short hair and straight people have long, I'd be like, having long hair on one side and short hair from one side, what is supposed to do? Like, just
There
to show that I'm
are bi
lesbian.
women who do that. There are queer women who do that.
Wicked.
Yeah, I had that. And Rania, I love your hair. I just have to say that I had hair like this. I had hair like this way back, but now I don't. But I am just what I'm just curious. What would bisexual men? Mujib, please throw some light.
Yeah. Oh my days. I wouldn't go for that. I wouldn't go for that look. Go grow my hair. What? But definitely you rocked it. You rocked it, Rania. You rocked it. I was
You
just
to
funny
Mujib for
enough.
the membership, for like the bike club membership, like those are the rules. Like you have to.
No rules. Funny enough, with the promiscuous like statement and that stigma, it's just ridiculous. Like me seeing it firsthand, I think gay people are more promiscuous. That's one of the no, I wouldn't not just use that word, but I wouldn't. That's one part of the reason why I get a lot of stigma from my gay friend or someone I just meet, because I'll meet someone and straight up, oh, there's a block there. Let me suck you off, thinking, okay, no, we're not going that way. And I've just been in positions where it's just sex most of the time. And when you're not doing that, they think, oh, you're not gay. But I want to have a nice time. I want to take a walk. I want to go out to the lake and go sit down, and read some book. So just really, I'm just learning from all this. But definitely, I'm not the one you should be acting. I'm just picking up points now, thinking, what's happening here in this community?
Yeah. I think it's like just with queer people generally. I think because we're like so repressed that like when we finally get the chance, it's like a buffet. But I see this this is like again I think I will be seen as promiscuous by like most people or whatever, especially by Indian standards, I guess. But yeah, I used to, so I don't say that I am polyamorous or I am monogamous. I think I can do both. I can do monogamy and I can do polyamory, and I have done both, and both have been like fine for me. And obviously polyamory is trickier because you don't have a script, you know, like you do with monogamy. But anyway, like when I was, polyamorous, like I was in polyamorous relationships, I would feel like such a stereotype, you know, like people are gonna be like, okay, you're bi or whatever, pansexual, check, open relationship, check, like, you know, and I would feel like, oh my God, like I'm being such a stereotype here. But at the same time, like I am so jealous of like queer men, you know, like the stories that I hear from like some of my queer male friends. And I mean, literally, so we had this like pride party, right? And at like, you know, that queer club that I was talking about. And then you have like on the dance floor, okay, you have like the queer men, okay, and you know they're all like kind of like dancing and like, you know, grinding on each other and stuff like that, okay. And because it's like for women or like for non-binary people, it's not like a very safe space, like even like, you know, queer events. So they would, you know, so they made kind of like a separate area for like, you know, women and non-binary people. And there it's like, you know, people are like sitting down in small groups and chatting. And I'm like, this is such a stereotype right now. You know, it's like the women are like having like a little picnic and like conversations. And like, you know, yeah. And like the men are kind of like, you know, really getting down and dirty, like on the dance floor. And it's like, I want to be there. You know, like, why? So
Bloody
yeah,
privilege, bloody male privilege. That's exactly what it is.
yeah.
Because for me to get
Definitely.
to that kind of like headspace, I need my tequila shots, right? End of story. And then it's like, oh my God, Rania, like, where did that come from? I'll tell you where that came from. Like oppression and tequila combo. Do you know what I mean? But I totally agree with you. I really wish we, even when we are out and like enjoying ourselves, that we take a leaf out of their book and we are a lot more confident and we are a lot more aggressive, because that's what they are.
Definitely.
Look at the dating apps. Look at the dating apps.
Mujib
If
is
you
like,
say
yes,
on the
aggressive,
dating
yes.
app that you're like,
I agree
sorry,
with
what?
that. Let's go.
Yeah. No, I was just making a stupid joke. Continue.
Yeah. So like in the dating apps, if you're like, I'm interested in women and men, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get the crip. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's exactly the same, but like, I think the gays do not really care. I think we think a lot more than we should. We overthink, and it's a lot more freeing to just, I don't know, take a leaf out of their book and be a bit more adventurous and a bit more outgoing in that sense.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely all for that, and I also like, yeah.
Sorry.
So
Go
like,
ahead,
I
go
just
ahead.
want to say like in terms of like dating apps. So you know, because this like in the UK it became like a pattern. Like I think in India it doesn't happen as much, but also I've realized like all kind of negative discriminatory things for me have been happening like less and less. And I think that's maybe because I've kind of gotten stronger and more assertive, and so people are kind of increasingly scared to like, you know, come at me with the shit, you know. I will like literally look at this hair now. This is like peak, like I guess lesbian hair. Okay, so
Green Lantern, you burn them.
yeah. Like I will meet like, you know, straight girls and they'll be like, and they will just hear that I'm queer, right? And they will just assume then that I'm a lesbian, okay? Which is such a complete like 360-degree turn from like when I had long hair. But anyway, and then they will start talking to me about like, oh, you're so lucky that, you know, you date women, like men are so shit and blah, blah. And I'll be like, I do know, unfortunately, also, like, you know, women are not that much better. You know, like maybe a bit, but like women can also be very toxic regular question for me to be asked for a threesome, that I actually started asking the guys, like, okay, so do you have another girl in mind? Who is she? Like, you know, like, okay, let's make this threesome happen. Who is the candidate? Like the other one. And then they're like, oh, I don't have anyone, but you will get one, right? And I'm like, if you're gonna come at me with like a suggestion, have a plan, have a strategy, okay? Like, make sure everything is
And
in
then we can
place.
discuss.
Yeah, exactly.
I need to see the evidence.
Also, I was saying, like, you know, Rania, you were talking about claiming spaces, and how you, so when Surya was telling that, you know, this gay party had a different flow for men and a different flow for women and gender non-binary folks, there was this particular party that happened in a queer-friendly club in Delhi, India, that was just for
We're
LBT
talking about the
people.
same
So-
club, I think. But then oh wait, no, the LBT one.
No, you
Yeah,
are
yeah,
talking. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're talking about the cafe
So the
one.
LBT party LBT party happened, and at that time I was also not very versed with what is, you know, what's the need to segregate. So I had that in mind, but I wanted to know. But there was such a backlash, like, you know, cis gay men saying that, you know, why do they need to discriminate on the basis of that? I couldn't understand, and I like went to the owner. He's a friend. I asked him that what is the politics here. So then he told me, and I was like, why are these gay men then, you know, claiming space which isn't theirs? Can't they just shut up for once and just be like, okay, it's not ours, let us pass the mic? But they cannot naturally do that. They are just, I don't know what is wrong with them.
It's entitlement. It's very funny how, like, you know, there's that straight cis male entitlement, and then the queer community, it's like the gay cis male entitlement. It just like filters through.
Yeah, he's almost like gay. He's almost homosexual.
Yeah. But also, like, I like the point that Mujib brought up about like transphobia. Like, you know, there are bisexual people who are transphobic, and then when you are bisexual and trans, like, you know, for the like the researchers doing, like, the number for like suicide, depression, like all of those lovely things are, you know, they go up even more, obviously, because you experience transphobia and biphobia. So yeah, I just think that's a good point.
Oh.
Yeah.
Also, many people think that, you know, trans people, like, there's this stigma that, you know, I've heard many a times, that people think that people, just to be accepted by others, they change their sex, or they change their bodily makeup to be with the other gender. And if they are with the same gender, then people are like, if you had to do it, why could you just not be like a man? If they transition, like, if they are a woman and they transition into, you could just be a man and be with the woman. Why did you have to transition then? But
Yeah, this,
you
all
know, the
this,
thing,
yeah, continue.
I'm so, yeah, this thinking of, you know, they being in a wrong body does not come up. And as you said, that biphobia and transphobia together, it's like, it's a deadly thing. Like, I don't know, we can't even comprehend the kind of problems that come up with. But yeah,
And again,
just
I
like
think
thinking out loud.
also with my bisexual friends, and Mujib is also a single father, as he said earlier. Once one of my bi women friends, she's got a baby, automatically she's not bi anymore. Automatically, she used her privilege, she used her rights to give birth, which means that she had sex with a man, and we see the evidence of it. So she wasn't really queer. She wasn't really like queer or bi in the first place. So I think this is also another very problematic narrative. But I can kind of understand why some of my friends have kind of decided to stick with pregnancies that they may not even really excited for because of kind of like taking off the weight of oppression of the family of being kind of bisexual. So it's like, look, I've done this for the family. You have a grandchild now. We can kind of move on and allow me to be who I am and allow me to enjoy sleeping with women and men. Again, this is not my experience, but this is what I see from friends, especially here in Greece, which is very different than the UK situation. I
don't think that is necessarily a problem, Rania. From my point of view as well, if they can come to an understanding with the family in that way.
What do you mean, come to an understanding with?
So of course, one of your friends, like you mentioned, is he wants to live freely as a bisexual person, and some people although plan, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a child as a bisexual woman, but some people like they don't plan it, they just want to do it to make their family happy and stay off their back for the continuation of so they can live their life. Because I think there's a lot of cultural background. Like people, you don't necessarily need to forget about your culture because you want to be bisexual or gay or trans. You know, there's some cultures that are there. No. You have to just wipe that out of the earth. Really, not just but some cultures like you want to hold on to, and it's good to always come to like a balance to some people anyway. That if it works for them that way, rather than not at all, it's better to come to a balance. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Do you? I don't know if you want to answer this, but do you feel that being a single bisexual man has kind of changed your approach to, or how you feel about your bisexuality at all?
No, I don't think it changes how I feel about it. No, not at all. Yeah.
Great.
It's good. Yeah, just interesting. A lot of things that have been said here. I'm just like in the past couple of weeks, I'm just realized I'm attracted to. I could be. I was just agreeing to what Suri has said as well. I could be polygamous and monogamous. Is that the words? Rania, you use a word like that. Yeah. So just think I can be attracted to multiple people, same sex, different sex, but definitely I can be, say, monogamous and polygamous. And to be honest with you, just to accept that fact as well, that I can be attracted to multiple women, I can be attracted to multiple men. And if I don't want to be in a relationship this at the moment, and I just want to be out there dating multiple people, I'm not just going to date someone I'm not attracted to. That's not me anyway. Definitely, there has to be some connection, attraction before I date someone. So yeah, that's the way I'm just accepting it, because from a lot of what we say, we already know Garima is polygamous and polyamorous, is it? So from what we all from what we both said, it sounds like there's that kind of connection between all of us, that future going around between bisexual people. You're open to love multiple people or attract to multiple people. You just to accept it really and just be like, oh yeah, can do. Just interesting. And I'm in a relationship with a lady at the moment. I'm dating and funny enough, she's in an open relationship. She's also seen this girl, this other lady, and it's just interesting. And I'm gonna talk to her about this. Actually, she's supposed to be here soon. Anyway, like a couple of minutes. But yeah, it's just interesting. Like something we're gonna talk about. I only just started seeing her in like 2 weeks actually. So,
Nice. Yeah. So I mean, I think that it's like lots of people, can be polyamorous or monogamous or whatever it is. But I think with like queer people, it's like we kind of already, cross so many barriers to like accepting different parts of
Right.
ourselves. So I think
Yeah.
we kind of make more peace. Like after having gone through so many things already, I think we're able to kind of make more peace with what we want and what feels right to us, rather than like just rejecting it because it's not the norm. So I think, maybe that's why there's like, almost all of us who have in certain times like been in polyamorous situations. So I think, yeah, like we should, Mujib's person is coming around, so we should like wrap up. So I think that this has been like very serious and like sad in some ways. So like let's wrap up with like one or a few like best things about being bisexual. I'll go first. In case there is any kind of, I don't know, like apocalyptic situations, or like, there's some like one gender really takes a hit in terms of its population or something, like, I will survive. So that's my positive thing. Like in terms of being in romantic or whatever relationships or anything. Yeah.
I guess for me, the best thing about, sorry, carry on, Jim.
Yeah, the best thing is just putting out, making this I say debate about this kind of debates, and just about my sexuality, and just finding out a lot more. And best thing recently as well, just the support for West African gay community, just like through Facebook and all that, just to saying just simple things like putting your status, like I know I had a lot of conversation after I did that with a few people from that are already in Africa. A few people were like happy at to talk to me, like just to show that support. Like, yeah, there's a thing called bisexual, and just ridiculous that I was watching this documentary on Netflix. Just there's there's a prison in Lesotho. A lot of sexual interaction goes in there with male, although they don't accept it outside in the outside world, and but it's going on in the prison so badly. Like, people are getting bullied all the time, disease is getting spread. So I was just kind of like, if people start accepting it in countries like that, accepting there's things like bisexual attract naturally, commonly people are attract in heterosexual relationship in places like that. But yes, there's things like bisexual. Just start accepting it, and there'll be less bullying in the prisons, and there'll be less diseases going on. So the best thing for me is just like that kind of debate I've been having and talk really.
I guess for me, the best thing about being bi is this, again, what you kind of both touched upon, these conversations that I have to have with myself, and this kind of constant checking in with myself as to how I feel, where I am, and how I move forward. This reflection that is constant. And as a result, it makes me a better member of our community, because you don't always articulate what is happening in your heads, in your head and your thoughts in the best way possible, especially if English is not your first language. So this constant reflection kind of makes me feel more empowered. And I feel that as bisexuals are a lot more introspective, and we overthink in some ways. Again, massive generalization. But I think for me, this is the best thing about being bisexual, reflection.
So I think the best thing about being bi for me is that I get to interact with a lot of people with a lot of intimacy, which otherwise I would hold back on. If I'm with a woman and I identify myself as a woman, if I am with a woman, I would have that intimacy already. Like, if I'm talking to them, I would be like, okay, I'll be open to that. But if I am a heterosexual woman, I would not be. And also, I love to eat a lot, so I get like a lot on my plate, other than just a selective thing. So yeah, that's really it.
So should we wrap up? Yeah. Okay. Lovely talking to you, Glitter. I'm listening part of Glitter. I think I'm still part of Glitter.
It was lovely.
Yeah.
That was really good.